exhaust.
Now, there are no plans for making catalytic converters compulsory for motorbikes because they lack the sophisticated engine management systems that are needed. Indeed, converting many of the latest technical developments for motorbikes raises all kinds of problems. Anti-lock brake systems, for example, are still rare. All-wheel drive systems are pretty tricky too. This is the Sunshine development machine we saw briefly at the last motorbike show. Not, of course, a road machine, but then the developments from competition may eventually filter down into conventional motorbikes. Our motocross expert, Vic Allen, took this machine for a test off-road.
To give the two-wheel drive bike a realistic test, we took it to a tough training track on Clee Hill in Shropshire. I started by learning the course on my own British four-stroke PBH with a new single-arm rear suspension system. Heavy rain had left the muddy and rutted circuit in a very tricky condition. In fact, the good low-speed torque of the four-stroke was to prove quite an advantage.
Trouble is, when you're riding the mud, the slower you go, the worse it is. You suddenly have to get a certain amount of speed on. It's very difficult just to hit that happy medium. Got to get power here. Very important to get up this. Must get the power on the bottom. Really, this is an advantage for four-stroke motocross bikes, this type going. This certainly suits them. It'll be a very nice comparison for when I try the two-wheel drive. Because if the two-stroke of the two-wheel drive can compare anywhere with the four-stroke, it's certainly an improvement.
Off-road motorcycling is all about lightness and grip. This two-wheel drive motorcycle should have plenty of grip, but has it got a weight penalty? The drive to the front wheel is started here with the final drive sprocket. It goes up to a clutch which only engages when the back wheel spins. This then takes us to this drive here, across to this side, which goes down to another linkage, which takes us to the front wheel. All this complicated linkage is intended to maintain chain tension as the wheel goes up and down on the suspension. The French Sennett brothers have adopted a different solution on their 2x2 Savate, using centre hub steering. The engineering is clever, but the whole thing's a lot more complicated and could suffer from a poorer lock, a big handicap off the road. And it was off the road that I tried out the 2x2 Sunshine Yamaha. It's the fourth prototype from David Watts and Tony Dennis, and the drive system now works very well. With the front wheel geared 5% slower than the rear, it would have been better suited to sand racing perhaps, but the Shropshire mud was a fair test of its effectiveness.
This is where it's good. Somewhere we're going very, very slow. You don't have to give too much throttle, get a lot of grip. That's sometimes when you feel a little bit heavy to steer with a two-wheel drive. Right here, it's very difficult to get done, where I could get power on it very early with single-wheel drive. This one drives very good, but the only trouble is, it takes a long time to be able to get it on. Jumps, no problem at all. This bit's tremendous. Braking effect is colossal. This particular bit seems to get too much grip. There's a grab the edge of ruts and want to drive itself out of it instead of just following it round. You can hear the motor, you can really make it pull, and that is certainly a benefit. Very good for enduro riding through trails, through trees where it's very slow and tricky. This would be superb.
Well, it certainly gets plenty of grip. The problem is, it makes your arms tired. Does it have a future? In the off-road competition market, maybe. But the interesting thing is, does it have a future on the ordinary road bike?